Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Molotow Man at YouTube with another model video and tutorial. Today we're going to be reviewing the Molotow Liquid Chrome pen and refill. A product that's about 20 years old according to the packaging. Has been evident of the marker, the paint marker, can create a very realistic chrome look by direct application, very slow drying, and self-levels to a nice finish on bare plastic. What we're going to do is use these various pieces by colouring them in, as well as airbrushing them, and checking out if they look good with different undercoats, or just straight onto the plastic. First test will be with the pen, and it's unused, it's rattleable, and you push it in like a Gundam paint marker to get the paint flowing. To refill, the top just screws off. You can see the very long wick. The wick comes off and exposes a reservoir of chrome inside. By holding it down long enough and shaking it, it gets so the tip is wet enough that it applies directly, and it's very shiny. To suggest applying it on large surfaces, you're going to get imperfections and brush strokes and whatnot, but it applies on quite smoothly. It is extremely slow to dry. A toy maker told me it's about a 2-week wait until it can be touched or painted upon. And it goes on quite thick and uneven, though eventually over a very long period of time it self-levels. And it looks pretty interesting and fun. It would be very good for sword blades and pistons and all sorts of small things like bumpers on cars and whatnot. But with a couple of speck of dust and whatnot, it definitely ruins the effect, and there's some hard to reach sections it doesn't quite get into. The effect is very reassuring and very interesting. It's quite fun to apply. So I assume you would put a clear coat under it or over it after a while, and buff it back to get rid of any dust particles or whatnot that has occurred. But masking and airbrushing would be your best bet. But the sheen of that, very impressive. I do like that, though on some areas it's very uneven, and we've got all of those spots and whatnot. It doesn't look very good in person, but on camera it could be very intense. For the refill, it is substantially more expensive, though it comes with 30 milliliters, so it's enough to fill up one of those pens about 3 or 4 times. It has a bit of a syringe top, so we could spray that or apply that to our airbrush, and it doesn't pop open easily, so putting excess back might be a tad hard, so I might put that in a container or something. We will spray these 3 pieces. To the far left is just bare Bandai plastic, the middle is lacquer white, and the last one is lacquer gloss black. So we will see if the undercoats make any difference whatsoever. We do need to do a comparison with something, so I'm going to spray one piece with Liquid Chrome and see how it stands up with the hobby's best and most realistic metallic paint range. So straight off the bat, to my left is the brush on stuff, and there's a few imperfections. Beautifully shiny, but not perfect. To the left, this is the airbrush stuff, and it's just absolutely flawless and beautiful. It's also the one that's applied on gloss black. Doing the prime test, we've got this finish. Now there is a scratch. While it was wet, it did get scratched. I applied more paint and it would not reset. So if you make any mistakes whatsoever, it's a case of strip, sand, polish, start again. You have to be incredibly careful with this product, and I'm glad that I've made a mistake this early on. This is white, so red and white, intensity wise, is exactly the same. And then once we introduce gloss black, the intensity is not really any difference. I think it's more of a case of adhesion. Having it sit on paint instead of bare plastic would be the suggested and preferred method, but the stuff is just so thick and self-polishing. It's just interesting that that really has no impact whatsoever. Now this is a piece I painted the whole thing, and I went 3 to 4 coats, and you can see the paint started to pool and get a bit thick, so it's a bit wavy and strange in a couple of areas. You have to be very careful with that. Low PSI, around the 11 to 15 mark, and just 2 coats. That's it. That's all you need. Very, very slow to dry. This is too much, and you can see that the surface is just not quite right. But this is the stage where I'm just learning how to use the product. Absolute baby steps. Next to it, so that is the Molotow Chrome. Next to it is Alclad. No surface preparation, and you can see that the sheen is not the same. This chrome doesn't have the dramatic dark to light sheen, where the Molotow, it's just far more polished and it looks like it's foil or natural metal. It is a superior shine. So what we're going to do is allow this to dry for a few days and get it absolutely hardened and beautiful. Give it a slow drying clear coat. We're going to use our floor polish and give it a candy finish, and just adapt this super shine as a candy. So this is 2 weeks later. We've allowed it to fully dry, mature and harden as per toy maker's advice. Very, very famous modeler. And everything is very nice and glossy. You'll notice that some of them's got a bit of scarring or flooding because I applied a little too much pressure or paint, and some of them got touched. So up to many hours to a day or so after application, it is not safe to touch, not fully dry or hardened, and does require some time away to do what it needs to do. Now, hand painted one, which is the cheapest way to do it, has its disadvantage in multi-detail places, as the pen can't reach everywhere, even the 1mm one. And you can see that the surface is very rough from the brush strokes. I can touch it, I can rub it, and I can scratch it to a degree without any paint or the coating coming off. It does leave some fingerprints, so bit of a rub and it's shiny again. We've got straight Alclad with the straight Molotow Chrome. Both chrome in colour, and you can see the intensity difference. Alclad still has its place, as this chrome is probably too reflective and powerful for most looks, and can easily be overused artistically and be out of place on certain subjects, kits and whatnot. On Gundams and large mecha that might have a slight amount of weathering, it would be absolutely inappropriate to use Molotow. So we've got the bare plastic. Now there's a bit of scarring there, which occurred from it touching another part. That was unfortunate. And without primer, it still could be rubbed, scratched, little damage but not too much damage. White MS paint or SMS paint. So this was a matte paint, and it's still very, very glossy, and it's got far more adhesion, so it sticks nicely. Definitely goes on well for a prime surface. Gloss black. This is the shiniest yet possible. So treating, polishing and glossing your surface does reward you with an even better finish with Molotow. And if you compare the three together, you can see which one is far more glossy. So here's the final outlay. We've put acrylic on all of them, allowed a few hours to dry, and then left them as is. We've put some candy effect. So we've got the original of the gloss black, which was the best result, and we've got the lacquers here, and they're not too shiny, though the enamel here is really good by Outclad. It's probably the best shine from all of them, and the acrylic's not too bad, but it's quite blotchy. So if you're to candy this, you apply a clear coat of acrylic or enamel, allow it to dry sufficiently, and then do your candy coat, and your enamels will work out the best. But in conclusion, Molotow Liquid Chrome is a really good product. Just go straight to the refill, do not bother with the pen. Apply, allow it sufficiently amount of time to dry and harden far away. Do not let it touch anything, have dust set on it, scrape it or whatnot. It will damage and scar like a lot of these pieces. And as you are doing anything chrome or metallic, it is slightly better on a gloss black surface. Thank you very much for watching. As always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. Check out Facebook, check out the description section for more information and links, and we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.